Today's adventure, we're going to learn about the lunch feature and Dvergr's Blacksmith. And I'm going to show you a little bit of mapping too. Let me resume adventure. This is another feature that I forgot to tell you about. Resume adventure is in case you're in a dungeon and you have to save and be interrupted. If you have a party built and you're out in the dungeon somewhere and you can't get out of the dungeon in order to properly save your game, you can save in the dungeon, and then later when you come back to the game you can resume, and that's the party that you left out in the dungeon, and it just simply resumes the party there. Now if you had built for characters after your first 6 or 8 or however many you started with, and you're running a party with characters that are newer in addition to characters that are older, then you'll have to reorder your party because it'll be in the sequence of their creation. So your newer characters will be at the end, even if you wanted them to be fighters, lords, samurais, whatever, and be in the front. If they're newer, they'll be at the back. So just hit cancel, and then go to reorder, and it will show you the current sequence, and you can just select them and it will move them to the right as you put them in the order you want them to be in. And then they'll be in a new order. Like for example, in my case, I wanted to be, not that it makes a whole lot of difference, I wanted my ranger to be 4th, and then my sage and my alchemist. And that's how you do reordering. And then of course also, like I said, in camp, there's the save button where you can save. You can inspect your parties, kind of like in Gilgamesh's Tavern. You can look at your materials and your valuables and stuff like that. Quit party. I've never done that, so I don't even know what that does. Anyway, so I wanted to show off how to get lunch. Now notice where we are in the dungeon. This is the stairs. Sorry, I did that wrong. Let's try this again. Okay. Now, and okay to kick in the door. You found a book in a room. It's called The Book. It's the Japanese translation thing is not all that accurate. But anyway, so you found a book in a room. You got the cooking book of Antioch. Now, fight. And yes, you are going to have to just go out in the dungeon a lot and just go out and look for fights to get experience, to level up your characters, because you are going to have to level up. And it's going to be a bit frustrating because sometimes you're going to find very few encounters, other times you're going to find a lot. Like it looks like this time, it says every 2 steps I'm going to find a fight. Okay, now that we have the book, let's go back to Gilgamesh's Tavern and look at the lunch menu. And who's going to eat lunch? Let's recommend this sage. And suddenly we have all these different meals here that you can get. And down here it shows what boost those meals provide. So if we scroll down this list, whichever parameter characteristic of your character, it'll boost that by 2 points, or as you get further in the dungeon, it increases the benefits. Heal after battle, plus 10. Experience up, plus 10. In case you need to level up one character faster than the others, feed them this lunch, and they will get 10 points more in experience than anyone else. Heal up, plus 5. Piety parameter, plus 2. And this is just simply, you're going to find cooking books on every floor of the dungeon. So just the fact that this is limited should not frighten you off. As you find more cooking books, you'll find more. Pardon me for a second. you'll find more lunches. What else was I going to show? Oh yeah, as have been fighting a lot more, we're getting to be a little bit more funded. And I want to show you one of the things that you're eventually going to learn the mapping spell, but before you can learn it, you will have to buy it. And I wanted to show, let's give it to Perkadan. Now you have to be careful with some of the spells at the store because sometimes there'll be limited items. There'll be items that the store only has a few items of it. Okay, so we're buying a scroll of map. Leave. Leave. Okay, and go to can. Some spells you can only cast in camp, and other spells you can only cast in combat. And the mapping spell is one of the spells that you can only cast in camp. So use scroll of map. And this is the first floor of the dungeon as you will find it before you progressed. This is only the top half of the floor. There are two rooms you can't get into. This one here is, if I remember, a copper key. And this room over here is a star key. Here is a door that is guarded by a black knight who says that he needs 2,000 gold in order to pass. And you're going to have to pay that 2,000 gold every single time you want to pass through that door. So, again, you're going to have to make sure you can earn up enough gold to get through there, and then you're going to have to continue getting into fights to earn 2,000 gold again to get in there more than once. Because after a certain point, you are going to no longer need the south half of the first floor. So don't think in terms of you will always need to keep an extra 2,000 gold to keep going through there. Once you get keys to this door, you will no longer need to use the southern half of the floor to go downstairs. But you are going to need to get something from somewhere in this neighborhood here of the floor. I think it's more like over here. You're going to have to get the key from the monsters that you're going to meet here to get to this door. So, but anyway, so this is the map of the first floor, top half. And see now your scroll turns into a broken item. You could just drop it, but I would like to go back and sell it back to Boltax. They give you 0 gold for it, but I have a feeling that the game is designed to convert broken scrolls into scrolls for you to buy, so it replenishes the market. I haven't shown you yet. I just leveled up my alchemist, and he's got 2 spells in level 1. Blind, where you can blind monsters, and Fire Force, which is, I believe, a defensive shielding based on fire magic. Anyway, so those are the 2 things that I needed to show you. The map of the first floor and the lunch feature. Oh, I was going to also show you Dvergr's Blacksmith shop. Now that I have gotten enough materials from monsters, I haven't shown you that yet. Let me cancel. Let me go and get into a fight real quick and see if I can gather up some. Living experience, 34 gold, and a treasure chest. Gold. Oh no, he's been poisoned. Now watch his health real closely as you... There will come a time eventually where You will have a spell that cures poison. The nice thing is once you get out of the dungeon, suddenly poison goes away. Okay, Dvergr's Blacksmith Shop. Okay, so these are the materials that you get from the monsters in the dungeon. And this shows how many of each item you have. And when you go to compose, it will show you all of the things that you can make. The things that you don't have any resources for yet, it'll just show question marks. It doesn't know what it is. And then, of course, when you highlight the item, it shows you what it is that you need to make it. Priest robe. Let's go ahead and do that. And there. And notice you did not have to say anything about who would receive the item when it's made. So let's see who got a hold of it. Dewface. So let's go ahead and trade that. To, I don't know if an alchemist can wear it. Let's go find out. Nope, he cannot wear it. So he will trade it to our sage, who also cannot wear it. Apparently, only priests can wear the priest robe. So, at least there's that. If I remember, I think there's also a mage's robe that will end up being in the Dvergr's Blacksmith Shop. Another thing that's going to eventually become useful, I say eventually, I mean soon, is a fairy shield, which you're going to be able to use for your non-combat characters, your bishop, your sage, your alchemist, your priest, your wizard. They're going to be able to use the fairy shield. Right now you want to get save up enough gold to get your fighters and thief or rangers a leather shield +1. Eventually you're going to start getting a hold of wooden shields and iron shields and stuff like that, but for now all that Boltax is going to have is the leather shield and the leather shield +1. But when it comes to arms, remember, limited supply. You're not going to be able to get this stuff for all of your characters, and eventually you're going to start finding these things out in the dungeon and be able to equip them after you've had them identified and see if there's a curse on them and stuff like that.